Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 32 of 15 Minutes of Genius. Sometimes 13 minutes of genius, sometimes 22 minutes of genius. We have a record holder, I think, 2 weeks ago that did 26 and a half minutes of genius. So some people like to talk. But anyway, thank you for joining us. I am Alex Baer. I'm the CEO and founder of Genius Juice, as you can probably tell. Maybe not from what I'm wearing. Big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He is your man for editing photos, video. He has this entire studio set up. He has done bottle shots for us, case pack shots for us. He is amazing. Our products are in a lot of national stores, and he's been a part of that. So big plug to him. Our guest today, I actually met him about a year and a half ago. We were just talking before going live that it seemed like yesterday. It's like this year has just flown by. So let's get right into it. Reza Mirza, he is the CEO of Icelandic Glacial Water, which I'm sure almost everyone has heard of. It's one of the fastest growing imported water brands in the U.S. and available in over 26 countries globally. We're just trying to get into 26 states in the United States. They're in 26 countries. Icelandic Glacial is bottled at the source in Iceland and is known for its purity and sustainability credentials. Reza joined Icelandic Glacial in 2014. Reza has nearly 20 years of consumer product experience, having worked at Bosch, Colgate, Palmolive, Nestle, Waters North America, and Activate Drinks. Reza, how are you?
I'm good, Alex, and thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you got the white wall in the background, the minimalist look. I love it. So that you pop, we're focusing on you, and there's no distractions in the background. So well done, sir. Well done.
You know, it is just something you have to do when you are on 100 calls with Zoom. You know,
you become a background expert in Zoom, right?
Yeah, you're like, okay, let's have the background, the white background, the black T-shirt, and we're good. You know.
Exactly. No wonder you close so many deals. No wonder you're in so many stores. It's all about the Zoom setup, right?
Yeah.
plus everything else, you and the product and Yeah. So anyway, let's get right into it. I want to hear your story. I heard a little bit about it when we were at that event together. We were on a panel together for CPG. But tell us, you have so much experience in all these different CPG brands. You went from Bosch, Colgate, Palmolive. You can tell us a little bit about that, but also tell us about how you migrated over and joined Icelandic Glacial.
Well, it's I entered the food and beverage industry itself completely by accident. After school, I originally from India, came to New York to study at this Columbia, did my summer internship at the Colgate Palmolive. I joined them full time. And when I was at Colgate, I got an opportunity at Nestle Waters. And I said, okay. So that's what was my entrance into the food and beverage world. And while I was at Nestle, I had an opportunity at Activate Drinks to work with Michael Eisner, and it was started by his son, Anders Eisner. So I worked with him for about 2.5 years, moved to Icelandic. And the one thing when I met Jon and Christian Olafsson, who started the company, who are the founders of the company, I was just very impressed with the brand. I saw the product was fantastic. And also we were aligned on our vision on where we could go with this brand. And I think that's very, very important, especially, for anyone who works with it, is you got to have a common vision. If you don't have a common vision, life is going to be hard. And is something where with both Jon and Christian, we were very clear where this brand could go to. And then I started with them, and it's been a fantastic journey the last 6.5 years.
When you started with Icelandic, where were they, if you don't mind sharing, like in revenue, what kind of growth have you seen in the 6.5 years since joining the company. And like, as a CEO, I mean, that's a tall order, right? What do you do? Where do you start? Is it innovation? Is it distribution? Is it packaging? And I'm sure it's all the above. But what worked well for you and the brand to actually scale it in the last 6.5 years? And how much have you grown also since joining the company? Seems like a lot.
Yeah, let's put it this way. The last 6.5 years, we have grown the company like 4.5 to 5 times revenue. We have gone from a 10 ACV, or the 10% of the stores, just to simplify, to now we are at a 45 ACV. We are in over the 30,000 stores or 30,000 doors. But to answer your question directly is, the whole beverage industry, especially in bottled water, is built on 3 platforms. One is distribution. The second one is innovation and your brand. So what we did is we first decided, okay, step 1, let us first focus on building our distribution, and that too by channel. Step 2, we created a very strong innovation pipeline. We moved from just this plastic, the plastic bottle, we got into glass. And then we stabilized that. From glass, we have just launched sparkling flavors, which you see here. This is our launch, which is just rolling out. Next year, we have a 5-liter bag in the box, and then we launch aluminum cans in the second half of next year. So, especially in the world of very limited resources, you got to be very laser-like focused, and that's something which we are very focused on. And the most important thing is we have built a fantastic team. The one thing I'm very proud of, I must say, is we as a company have really built a world-class team in every function. So what we have done now is we have a strong foundation, and if you look at the scan data, Nielsen, we are showing high double-digit growth rates, and we are one of the fastest growing imported brands in that space. So there's a lot of positive momentum, and we have just got started. Next year, as you know, Alex, we have just finished a lot of the category reviews. And the most amazing part of what's happening right now is all the stores which we have been in are adding on a lot more SKUs because our velocity numbers are fantastic. And all this is scanned data. It's all IRI Nielsen data. And then we are adding on new stores. We are going to have over, I would say, about 10,000 new stores or new doors starting in April and May of next year. So we have built a strong foundation, and now the building is being made every day.
I mean, that is incredibly impressive. I think with everyone that's been on the show, I mean, we're in episode 32 now, so let's say the 31 guests that we've had before you, no one has built their distribution that much. I think we've had 5,000 doors. We just had, in our earlier episode, Ithaca Hummus, I think they're at 6,500 doors, but you're at 30,000. You're going to be at 40,000. You guys are doing something right. So really congrats on all your success. Let's talk about sustainability. I told you right before the taping, I'm going to have one question for you that is going to be a surprise question. And, I'm not going to prep you for it. This is all, off the cuff. I thought about it right before we taped this, but honestly, you've already answered it. So the pressure's off. I was going to ask you about sustainability as far as packaging, right? You have all these other brands like, Liquid Death. You have Proud Source. You have, what's the other one? I can't remember right now, but Pathwater that are doing it in aluminum, right? And then there's glass as well. So I love to hear that you're going into more sustainable packaging. Tell us more about that. Are you going to continue to offer plastic and then have others in glass, and also the mold on your bottle, right? If you can actually show it on your screen there, Reza, like on the top of the bottle. Mark, you can switch over to Reza here. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get to that. But you can see that on the top there, there's this mold of like, it's the mountain, right, of the glacial mountain. It's a little hard to see there, but a nice kind of texture really separates you from the pack. Are you going to be able to do that with glass and aluminum, or no? Is that impossible?
So let me answer your question before I get into that. Would be, let's talk about the sustainability. Jan and Christian, when the company was started, and I think in 2006 itself, when they set it up, the company started in 2004. We started selling in the US in 2006. The sustainability in Iceland is a big deal. And Jan and Christian set it up as a 100% carbon neutral company for both production as well as operations, even way before sustainability became the buzzword. It was, we had the factory that we have in Iceland, and I would invite anyone who goes to Iceland to actually visit, where it's world class and it's totally LEED Platinum certified, etc. But the energy is from the earth, which is about 70% of the energy that it takes to run a factory. And in Iceland, it all is geothermal energy. We even have a third party audit us every year, and they map out our carbon footprint to every wholesaler in the country. And then we actually do carbon offsetting projects in order to offset our carbon footprint. So as you can see, from day one, it's all about sustainability. Then we are evolving as we go down. Next year we already announced we're going to have 50% recycled plastic in our bottles, and then we're going to get to 100%. But the one thing so I'm coming to your question about the plastic part is, if you read this book called Cradle to Cradle, it's by a professor from Yale, and he talks about plastic with this PT1, which we use. It actually can be recycled over and over and over again. That's the beauty about PT1. The issue that we have in America especially is recycling. Germany, Europe has about 80, or the Western Europe has about 85% recycling rates. We have about 31% the last time I checked. So this PET bottle, it can be used, it can come back as bags, it can come back as the couches, it can come back as garden furniture. It has life which can be cycled over and over again. So that's why if you read that book, Cradle to Cradle, by an environmental scientist, it's very eye-opening. But that's the plastic business. We'll continue to be in it. And then we are getting into a 5-liter bag in the box, which is, it's on a sustainability platform. And the aluminum cans, we're going to go into about 11 ounces aluminum can. We're not going to go, we still haven't yet decided to go into the big ones, which they have. So we are very, very cognizant everything we do. Even, I'll give you an example. This year we had an outdoor program, the billboards. We even used the skin of the billboards that we had up and running, and we converted them into bags. Wow. So we always are looking how to reuse everything that we have. Regarding, this is actually a very interesting story, because, and this was before I came, and Jan and Christian were designing this bottle. They wanted to be something unique. They wanted to get the glacial look. The hassle of the initial rounds is it used to get crushed, because when you put it on a pallet and you put it. So they actually got engineers. They got structural engineers who actually work with the designers. So everything, there's a lot of science which has gone into this bottle. So everything, it has to withstand. And like, Alex, in your warehouse, I've seen photographs, by the way, of you with your cases. Those are stacked one on top of the other, pallets, and it comes on the ocean.
Yeah.
So it has to withstand a lot of strength. Otherwise the whole thing is going to crush. You can push this hard, which I'm doing, and it doesn't crush. So there's a lot of, so when Jan he loves telling the story, is about how they worked for months they said, if we can put up a skyscraper and in various designs, why can't we create a bottle which can stand the weight? And that's how the bottle was born.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome because, I mean, the sustainability story, just to touch on that as well, is becoming a enormous deal, especially in water. I know that our category, which is like the plant-based refrigerated category, with the Genius, Harmless Harvest, Rebel, Koya, that's starting to be scrutinized as well. But with water, that's really the first category that I've seen, that I think we're all seeing, where it's becoming heavily scrutinized to have a more sustainable bottle, more sustainable source. I love the story that you just shared. I didn't know about that, about your factory and the geothermics on it, and how it is, more renewable energy than, let's say, another factory, less pollutants in the air. Amazing, amazing story, which I think really encourages retailers to support you even more and bring your product in. On the
in fact, Alex,
sure.
Just to build on that, just one thing, just want to add on to that. When you talk about the sustainable spring, we own one of the largest springs in the world. And we take out only 0.01% of the water from our spring. Everything goes as an overflow into the ocean. So my favorite thing is every time I land into Iceland and you come out of the airport and you just look at the ocean, the first thing that goes on in my mind is, there goes my excess inventory, because it just flows out into the ocean. So even our spring, like if it stops raining tomorrow morning across the world, we have so much of water in our spring that we can supply the whole world the bottled water for the next 2.5 years.
Got it. So, pretty amazing. So, and the story is awesome, very obviously compelling. And again, by sharing the story on here, I think people better understand the product, the mission, because people, when they buy products, it's really why, not only what it is, but they want to know what they're supporting. The other thing I'll mention, then we're running out of time here, that the branding piece with the bottle, I think, is freaking genius, because like when you see it, I think the best kind of branding is the one where you don't even have to explain it. You don't have to have a demo, right? You don't have to do a lot of marketing. I'm sure you do marketing, but when someone sees the product, what conjured up in my mind when I first saw it is, it's from the mountaintops, right? It's fresh water from the mountaintops, from the glacial, the snowy mountaintops, fresh, crisp. It brings all those kind of, that experience to when you see it on the shelf. So job well done. So we're almost out of time, but we have one more quick segment, which we're going to get into right now. And this is a surprise. Rapid fire questions. Rapid fire questions. Okay, so 1 minute or less. 1 minute or less. You got to be really, really quick here, okay? So I'm going to pressure you to get through this. Here we go. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys.
Okay, you can say neither. First thing you do when you wake up.
No, I actually like Backstreet Boys.
There you go. Me too. It's my favorite boy band. I'm not going to say my favorite band. First thing you do when you wake up, besides drink Icelandic glacial water?
A hot cup of coffee, a cappuccino.
Nice. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times?
This is some Gladiator.
Gladiator. I
22 times so far.
22 times. Wow. I think they're going to say Cliffhanger because in the mountains. Get it? Song you can listen to an unlimited amount of times?
Heaven from Bryan Adams.
It's a good one. Favorite national park?
It's actually in India. is the Jim Corbett National Park. It's a lot of tigers and elephants there.
Very cool. Okay, just be careful. Speaking of tigers and elephants, what's your spirit animal? That's the next question.
It's a horse.
Horse. Okay. Window seat or aisle seat on an airplane whenever you fly next, which could be in 2022.
Window seat for sure.
Peanut butter or almond butter, or neither?
Almond butter.
Cold weather or hot weather?
Hot weather.
Cold brew or hot coffee? I think you already answered that. Hot coffee. LeBron James or MJ?
LeBron James.
Wow, you're the second to answer that. So 10 people so far, and you're the second to answer LeBron James. Turmeric or ginger? I think I know this one.
You would assume it is turmeric.
Yeah.
Ginger.
Wow. Surprised me. That, I think, is the highlight of this entire show right there. A man from India picked ginger instead of turmeric. Favorite food or drink if you were stuck on a deserted island and you cannot say water or Icelandic glacial water, you cannot say genius juice, and you cannot say turmeric or ginger.
My favorite drink has to be my coffee and lamb chops.
Lamb chops.
My favorite ever.
I think there's
lamb chops and coffee. I'm very happy.
There you go. That's a good combination. I think there's definitely lambs grazing, right, over in on an island, I think, right? I'm not big on geography, but I think that's the truth right now. I'm just kidding. All right, so again, thank you for joining us on this rapid-fire question segment, and also thank you for joining us for episode 32 of 15 Minutes of Genius, Reza. I really appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Alex, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. And by the way, I love reading about your successes and watching all that you do on LinkedIn, and just speaking to you. It's always very, very inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much. And there's going to be a lot more success next year, I'm sure, with Icelandic and also with Genius Juice. There's going to be some big news coming on the Genius side and also on your side with 10,000 more stores. Yeah. So you've heard it here first on 15 Minutes of Genius. So thank you again for joining us, man. And one last thing. You got it. Make sure to stay hydrated with Icelandic glacial water and stay genius, my friends. Take care. Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.